I'll try looking at getting into our website here.
Great. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sarah Shepard. I'm the Employer Relationship Manager at Mercy College. And our goal, one of our many goals in the career department, is to bring you face-to-face or virtually face-to-face with employers who can talk to you about different opportunities that you're eligible for. So today we have Nick Perella, who's joining us from the New York State Senate to talk about the 2021 spring internships. So take it away, Nick.
Sarah, thank you so much
Thank you.
for inviting me here. And thank you to all the students who are here. Good afternoon. My name is Nick Perella, as Sarah said. I'm the Director of Student Programs at the New York State Senate. And we're going to talk a little bit about our Undergraduate Session Assistance Program, which we run up here in Albany. It's an on-site experiential learning program that we run from about the second week of January till about the third week of April. So it's a little bit more than 3 months. And you come up to Albany and you are sort of immersed in the world of state legislative policymaking and politics, right? We place you in the office of an elected New York State Senate member, and you kind of function as a junior level staff member in the office, really sort of learning all about the process that legislation takes its way through. You learn a lot about budget making, and because while you're here, one of the most important things that the New York State Legislature does is adopt an actual spending plan, a spending budget for a fiscal year, which starts on April 1st of each year. And so that your time encompasses sort of that process playing out, and you do get to see that. A lot of benefits with this program. First and foremost, you do get a stipend. For 2021, it's going to be $6,600, and that is really meant for students to kind of defray their costs for moving up to Albany, and you do have to find housing, while you're here. You can earn as much as 15 credits, and I think you'll probably want to talk with Sarah and some other faculty and staff members at Mercy College to see how the credit situation plays out. But I have a lot of students from other academic institutions who do this program for a full 15 credits for a semester. So you're earning while you're learning, right? And you're getting credit to do that. And you are exposed to, the stakeholders, right? The folks, the movers and shakers that are here, decision makers. I really say that, state and local government is a very critical and vital part of your lives. And whether or not you know it, over 90% of the governmental services that you receive actually come from state and local government. So being in an internship like this gives you a bird's eye view of how those decisions are made, like what goes into the decision to, have policies where students have to wear masks on campus, if you're on campus, right? Or if you're going to the grocery store, things like that. How much money do we spend on transportation related issues and infrastructure, right? What do we spend on K through 12 education or higher education? How do health programs, are they created, and how do they get administered throughout New York State? So a lot of that is what you'll see, while you are here. And if my technology skills are okay, I'm going to go and try and do a screen share here with you. Hope this popped up. Looks like it did. So this is kind of our website. And we run programs for undergraduate students and for graduates. So I'm going to concentrate on the undergraduate one, for now. Can everybody see that? Yes? Awesome. Okay. So here's our undergraduate program. And this is actually Siobhan Houghton, one of our former session assistants. And if we scroll down here, all these drop-down boxes tell you a little bit about the program, tell you about placement, and you can kind of go on down through the list. One of the cool things we do is a model legislative session, and kind of before everybody joined the call, I was, mentioning a former Mercy College student, Jelani Gale, who was the 2019 Model Legislative Session president. So she was selected by her colleagues in the program to run the model session. It's a neat little thing we do where throughout the time you're here, we teach you how to draft your own piece of legislation, and then you get to debate that bill. Normally it would be on the actual Senate floor, the Senate chamber. I think for 2021, we're probably going to be doing something very similar to what we're doing right now, which is going to be a model session through Zoom, given the fact that there's a high likelihood we won't be able to get into the chamber, but nonetheless, it's still a wonderful experience for students to kind of go through. And here it talks about eligibility, stating that you must be matriculated undergrad at an accredited college or university located in New York State. Majors in all accredited disciplines are accepted. So don't think that you have to be a political science major or public policy, anything like that. I've had natural science majors come here. I've had criminal justice majors, English majors, math majors. We consider all majors in terms of our applications. Applicants must have been enrolled full-time in the previous spring as well as the current fall semester, trimester, meaning this semester, and have maintained a minimum 3.0 grade point average or better. And you do need to be authorized by Mercy College to participate in a program like this. So definitely you'll want to talk with either an academic advisor or Sarah or someone who can point you in the right direction of doing that. How to apply? We have a list here, checklist of things that we require as part of our application process. So first is you have to get approval for off-campus study from your home academic institution. A completed undergraduate session assistant application, which I will come up here and show you these little links right here. And hopefully this pops up. Let me know, can you guys see that? Not yet.
We're still seeing, we're still seeing the website.
The other thing, okay. Let me see if I can do a new share here.
Yeah, it might be on a different screen. There you go.
There we go. Okay, so you see undergraduate session assistants internship application instructions. You can kind of read through all that, and then contact information for us. Campus liaison officers, again, that could be Sarah or that could be whoever the school designates. But here's the application, at least, kind of go through some of the basics, right? We want you to list where you've gone to school. This one right here, this preferred policy areas, is always kind of an important one because I will take you down and show the Senate has over 30 standing committees. So the standing committees are those that, kind of meet on a permanent basis to consider legislation throughout not only the session, but even after session 2. And so we ask that students choose 3 from among this list of areas where you would be interested in working in, right? So if you're really interested in agriculture, for instance, you may want to put that one down, or if local government, or social services, education, energy, really any of those, you pick 3. And what we try to do is match you up with a senator that works in those substantive policy areas. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that's all you'd be working on, because we only have 63 senators in the Senate. Many of them have to sit on 4 or 5 different standing committees. And so you'll see, for instance, a senator may be the chair of the health committee, but they could also sit on insurance, social services, cities. So you'll be exposed to many different types of issues throughout. And so that's what we want you to list back up here in the preferred policy areas. So you choose 3 there. References, 3 confidential letters of references that we'd like to see, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit more down here in our application checklist. Your 3 letters, we'd like to see at least 2 of them from professors that are familiar with your academic work. And I would recommend a couple of recommendations. 1, ask your professors early. You want to give them enough time to be able to write you a letter of recommendation. And 2, I would say ask professors who are very familiar with your work and who will write you a really good letter of reference, right? 2 of the 3 should be from professors. If you want that third one to be from, maybe you've had a summer job or you've had a job on campus where you had a supervisor and you feel comfortable enough going to them to ask them for a letter of reference, that third one can be from someone in your previous professional world. So we got the transcripts for all of your schools. You can request, it says official school transcripts. I've already had a lot of questions about whether or not I would accept unofficial ones from online, and I will do that given the situation. I know it may be difficult to get to the registrar and that end. We ask you to submit a 1-page resume, an original recent writing sample, 6 to 8 pages long. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. This can be something that if you've already submitted for a class, but do make it a good writing sample. Make it one that you got a really good grade on, where you had some positive feedback. 2 memoranda. One of those is a policy proposal, and each of the memoranda should be 1 page. One is a policy proposal, and I tell students to think of this as sort of there ought to be a law, right? You see all kinds of things, where you might say, geez, there should be a law on something like this. So create a policy proposal. Tell me why that policy you think would be a good idea. And then the second part of the memoranda is actually do what we call a policy rebuttal. And so you're going to take the other side, the other viewpoint. And in that 1-page memorandum, you're going to tell me why it might not be such a good idea, or what are some unintended consequences if we were to enact this policy. The reason that I ask students to do that is because when you're placed in a member's office, you are going to come across multiple sides of a given issue. It could be more than 2. When you're adding in the politics to everything, we can get 4 or 5 sides of an issue. So I want students to be familiar, with being able to argue back and forth on something, because your members are going to be lobbied really hard, especially when it comes to like issues that are really controversial, right? And if your senator is on the fence about where they're going to vote on a particular bill, they're going to be getting lobbied hard by all sides, right? And so you want to be able to know, what are the pros and cons of different pieces of legislation. The statement of purpose, I want you to tell me all about yourself, right? Why are you applying? What do you hope to get out of a program like this? Now, it doesn't, you're young, you don't have to have the 5-year plan all laid out specifically for, each year, but tell me a little bit about yourself. What is it that drew you to this program? What are you hoping to get out of it? What kind of experience? That's very helpful for us. Our deadline this year for the application is Friday, October 30th. Now, you may want to check with Sarah because Mercy College might have an earlier on-campus deadline, and she can instruct you.
I would say we stick with your deadline, and I would be the campus liaison officer, okay. So I can help you along with the process. Anybody who's interested in applying, review your documentation. So I'll put my email in the chat so you can just copy that out if you're planning on applying.
Yep. So basically, that's kind of, let's see if I can get back now here to our screen. Let me see if I can get back to our main screen share page. So again, there's all that information, about the program. And we also have, let me see if I can call this up for folks as well. So we have our brochure. Does everybody see the brochure?
Yes. Yes.
So we'll want to go up here to where those key dates are. Friday, October 30th is the application deadline. By mid-November, we like to have our selections, and we like to get the notices out to students because, again, you do have to move here to Albany to participate in the program. Currently, we're looking at January 7th through April 21st to be the dates of the program for next year. Now, I will say as a caveat that could change. We have to see how the fall and the early winter goes with the pandemic. Obviously, our hope is that we can start this on time and have folks here. And but that's something that we just kind of have to monitor. Every time I do kind of one of these events, I always tell students to have a plan B. And essentially that would be to sign up for courses just on the off chance something happens where we're unable to actually offer this program. Let's hope that's not the case. But I'm just telling students to be aware, given a sort of week by week and sometimes even day by day nature of what we're living through, there could be some really key changes that come up as we get closer and closer to January. So just kind of be, aware of that. Again, this kind of shows you some points about here. Again, the stipend, $6,600. We basically work off of a minimum 35-hour per week requirement in the offices. And that's basically, over a biweekly period, that's 70 hours. Many of our session assistants work longer hours than that because sometimes it's necessary. Certainly during the month of March, when the budget negotiations are happening, I see, session assistants putting in a lot more than 35 hours in a given week. But 35 is kind of our minimum there. We do an orientation program to start out when you first get here that lasts roughly about 4 or 5 days, and that's to get you acclimated to life here in Albany and what to maybe expect. We have guest speakers come in, talk about different different areas where they work in to kind of expose you to just how this place works essentially, right? And who are the playmakers and who are the ones the go-to people to get stuff accomplished, right? So again, it's, I think, a wonderful program. We have an academic component where we do seminars, weekly seminars, where I bring in guest speakers. I'm thinking that may again be virtual this year, but we'll have to see how that goes because usually I try to do it in person. And we'll just have to kind of see how that plays out. But so that's kind of it in a nutshell. Here up under placement, you kind of see type of work that you could get: policy research relating to constituents. And essentially that could be drafting responses to constituents who have questions, who come into the program, and who are contacting their legislator to see if there's any help that they can get in a particular issue. And you're also learning about sort of the legislative process writ large. So, it is, I always say, a wonderful opportunity for students who are thinking about maybe a career in public service. We do offer this for seniors, juniors, and what we term exceptional sophomores. Freshmen, unfortunately, are ineligible for the program. But if I do have any freshmen on the call today, please don't forget about us for future years. But again, it's, I think it's, you get the double benefit of earning a stipend, getting credit, and last but certainly not least, it's a resume builder for you. And whether or not you're going to go into public service after doing a program like this, I heard Sarah talking before. One of the things about doing an internship is, you're going to find out whether or not you want to do this for the next 10, 15, 20 years of your life. So it's a good foot in the door. And a program like this can really open up, a lot of doors for students. I've had several session assistants, get full-time jobs who were graduating seniors in the semester they did the program. Their office liked them so much, they got offered a full-time position. I got 3 or 4 from this year's class who are currently in that situation. They walked out of this program with a full-time job. So, if you're going to be a second semester senior, graduating senior in January, this might be something that you think about too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that thorough explanation. Mm-hmm. So we did have a couple questions come in the chat. So Tatiana wanted to know when the orientation program is taking place, and that's starting in January, right?
Right. The orientation with the first day, January 7th, would be an orientation day, and that's on Thursday. We usually do orientation Thursday, Friday of that week, and then the following Monday, Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. And then about a week after, you kind of get in, you're in your office, you'd probably be in your office by the 13th or the 14th, hopefully, if we stick to that schedule.
Great. So sort of a timeline would be, you can apply between now and the end of October.
Correct.
And then decisions are made in November, did it say? Nick?
Mid to late November, yeah. Our hope is going to be to have decisions made by Thanksgiving, so
Okay.
that students who are selected and do want to accept into the program, they have time, basically the month of December, to come up to Albany and find living arrangements.
Right, and sign up for the special credit, because it would be special credit you're signing up for. We have had a student get, I believe, 12 credits for the semester. So she was able to do the internship and also get credit for it with some writing components. You have to do some of those components for the actual credit, but it is doable. So if you submit the full application and you are offered a position, I think the next step would be to find housing. And I know that can be a little bit overwhelming. So I just wanted to point out that you have time and it is doable. We had one other question. If someone is a part-time student, I'm sorry, Imani, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt or anything, but I just wanted to know if I should apply as an undergraduate or a graduate, because by spring I should have graduated from undergrad and I already got accepted into Mercy's master's program. So should I apply as an undergraduate or a graduate?
This program is for undergraduate students. So when would you have your bachelor's degree?
I should have it by spring.
End of spring or before spring?
End of spring.
So
Okay.
you would be an undergraduate student. Sorry,
Yeah,
go ahead, Nick.
the undergraduate. So if you're going to get your bachelor's by May of 2021, then you'd still be, eligible, because that would be your